Hey there, welcome to my first bin build, I guess I'm going to call them. The idea will be I take some half-complete marker and pile my loose parts and try to actually put it together and, make it more complete, trying to reduce my pile of loose stuff lying around. In this case, I'm taking a look at, if I remember correct, this was a Chameleon Kit for the Tracer, or rather this part here, the block with the RAM. This was the Chameleon Kit, which would allow you to convert your PMI Trracer into semi-auto. I believe this was around the time of autocockers, so if you weren't going to buy a new gun, you could use this kit and convert your existing pump to semi. I don't know if it worked on all these Nelson pumps. I imagine it worked on more than just the Tracer, but that's what I've got here. So the kit is essentially, I'll take it apart in a bit so you can see it, but there is, right in there is a three-way, brass three-way it looks like, and a RAM. Now, all that is doing is this kind of janky thing right here. There's a rod attached to the side of this trigger shoe, which then pushes this little button, which actuates the three-way, and then moves this RAM, which handles the pump action for you. It is, it doesn't feel terrible, but it's certainly not the smoothest thing. But basically what I need to do is find a way of adding a low pressure regulator to feed the three-way and RAM, and then splitting the air inlet. There should have been, I believe, something coming off the back, which would allow you to feed a LPR off the side, and then also connect to a tank or a splitter somewhere here. I don't know, maybe it would have had the reg down here. But the point is the Tracer doesn't have any air outlet for an LPR like an autococker does, but we need to add one. So somewhere you need a splitter so you can get your air in and then have your outlet to the LPR, which feeds this. So I'm pretty sure I have the things I need to make that happen one way or another. So we'll just go take a look through the parts bin and see what I got. Okay, now here's some of my parts bins. I did actually earlier find this brass barrel, which I think would go nice. It came with, I have another kit actually. I believe that was called the Auto Tracer kit. Similar idea, take your pump, turn it into a semi. But I'm gonna use this for the Chameleon, I think. So we'll set that aside as our barrel. I got loose fittings. I need that for another project. I may want one of those, even though it's not period correct. I should be using, if I was doing period correct, I probably would be using one of the wire, do I have any? No, but one of those stainless steel wrapped hoses, but I do not actually like those. Although, I should actually mention, this marker will not really get used. That's for, forget something else I'm rebuilding. Sheridan of some sort. What was I gonna say? Yeah, this marker isn't gonna really get used. The Nelsons are not well suited to semi-auto, just by the nature of how they work. I kind of like that. I don't know if I'll need that. That kind of fits. Yeah, because the way a Nelson pump cocks is you actually pump the assembly back against the valve, and it's the air pressure in the valve that keeps everything functioning. I'll do something else more specifically about that at some other time. But they are not really in all designed to get slammed over and over again at the sort of firing rate this kit would have allowed. In fact, so here is, oh, we're looking at it. Oh, you know what? This is literally the thing. So you know what? This might actually not be so bad, because tracers, I'm not sure if they all do, I believe this one did, they don't have the typical Nelson power tube. They have this little stub. Other Nelsons would have something like this. And when you're converting them to semi-automatic and just hammering the bejesus out of them, this tube can break. But, if I remember correct, the Tracer actually has this guy. So maybe it'll survive a bit better than I was thinking. Anyway, moving. This is an old reg, but it does not have an out on it, so I can't use it for the in side. This is from I think that's actually what the hell do you call them? A CCI Phantom airline, which, if it would focus, I guess it doesn't matter. It'd be cool to use that, actually. I don't know if it would fit. Here we got to my regulator area. This is a Palmer stabilizer, which I think is actually period correct. Palmer's stuff's been around for a while, I think largely unchanged. And so we have an out, we have our in, so I can probably work with this because I do not have any sort of splitter. Yeah, I think this would actually work, so set that aside. And we also have, this is, I believe, an old Palmer's LPR. It is enormous. I think this was the rock, a brass rock. It is soldered together. I do not know. Oh, we'll see. I haven't rebuilt one of these in a while, and it wasn't soldered together. It was a newer one. But that's okay. If the thing doesn't work, that's actually fine. Oh, I also have this. This is complete garbage. Yeah, that's garbage. I'm not going to use that. I do have a good chance I'll need that. Is that it? Oh, actually, did I find the fittings? Let's see. Yeah, this is probably how the parts builds are going to be. I'm just going to dig through what I got, just because I'm pretty sure I have enough to do what I need to do. Reg, I have one microline fitting. Oh, there we go. Second fitting. That's probably functional. And do I have anything of interest over here? For this particular build, I think no. So I have my little pile of parts here, and we will go start slapping stuff together. And the marker. So what I'm thinking is this can go in here. I can feed the LPR off the side, basically the out of the reg, where typically you would put a gauge, which now I realize I won't be able to put my gauge. I use that adapter. LPR will go somewhere around here. This might be too chunky, but we'll see. LPR will go somewhere on the side, and then the inlet will go down to the side of this bottom line here. So first, I'm trying to do this while looking through my phone screen. So hopefully it's all right. Is that out? Yes, it is. And I need a flathead for that, which I have. I believe that is all that's holding this kit on. And before I lose anything, grab. Just lose all that stuff. Toss you on there. It is under the grip, so I need an Allen. I think it's just wedged under there. Yep. So now that we have this off, this is the kit. There's this pretty chunky three-way assembly in here. What I think is, whoa, brightness. There's a ram in here. I don't know if it's a Clippard or Humphrey or what. I do have another. Let's see. It is very similar. So this is a ram I bought for a Palmer's gun, which I have not gotten around to yet. Very similar. Not exactly the same, but this might actually work. I don't know what the stroke is on that. Oh, very similar. So if I needed to, I might be able to actually steal this ram for this project. And as you can hear, this is a non-bumper ram. That is just metal hitting metal, no bumper at all. So, get that out of the way for the moment. Refocus. And this will end up. So we're not quite where I would want it, but we're not far off either. Not far off either. So I may be able to get away with dropping an O-ring in there. And in fact, I'm just going to continue on, assuming that I'm able to do that. And let's take this thing off the side. I do not want that. Hopefully not. Let me look at what I'm doing so I don't make any marks on this rig, because it is in pretty nice shape. This came on, well, like most of my loose parts actually, this just came on another marker I purchased. This is on the VMX from another video. So there's my out. Not even gonna worry about any sort of clean up the threads. Sorry, that was the in. So I think I'll be using, I don't know if I'm better off with a straight micro fitting. I probably would be. I don't know if I have any of those, so we'll work with what I got for now. This is my out. Let's pop this. And lots of Teflon tape. I will not use tape. I actually have. It's easy to do this looking through a camera screen here. What I'll actually be using is this stuff, which I found from a TJD pump kit I have on another marker. This is what I use to seal it. It's just a very light, low strength sealing thread locker. So if you want to, you don't want to lock something in forever, but you do want it to be airtight. That stuff works great. So that is close. I wish the focus would adapt. That is close, but it would fit there. Okay, that would fit, but do have this barb in the way, which does not have a hex on it. I don't know if I can get that off without destroying it. Or, hold on, I'm overthinking it. Way overthinking it. Right? Yeah. What was I thinking? Just do this. That will end up. That would be swell if it could end up like that. I suspect not, because this thing has to fit. This has to fit here. And it, oh so effectively, blocks my inlet there. So let me see. That really does have to go right there. If I can. All right, let me finagle that for a moment. I think I might be able to push this forward enough. Oh, that would be close. Let's try something. So, I would love to have this thing just lay straight down the side like that. That would be splendid. Just for fitment and kind of aesthetics, having that go straight down the body, that would be great. So, let me see if there's any chance at all of being able to fit. There's also this, I do have this, right? I wonder if that could save my bacon here. Let's see. So as is, how close are we? Yeah, no, that ain't happening. Not happening. I was too busy looking at this edge and forgetting that there's this block sticking out the back. Though, remember I mentioned I have another RAM. Okay. Rethinking this. So this thing here is definitely going to get in my way, even if this frame doesn't. Now I'm a little hesitant to change it, just because that's the vintage RAM. But that is going to definitely get in the way if I want to set this up. If I want to set this up the way I'm thinking, that is going to get in my way. Because it needs to go on here. It does not leave me much clearance. Somewhere I have the fittings for this. I wonder if that would fit better. If I had any chance making that work. Alright, I'm going to mull that over for a moment and see what I come up with. And here is what I came up with. This is the regulator from a War Machine Assault 80. But don't worry, I didn't steal this from an A80. This was an extra reg. As you can see, it has a special fitting on top, but I actually have an adapter that will allow it to install into any regular ASA. And the key difference here is you can see that outlet's a little bit lower. So compare that. There we go. So inlet is a little bit lower than inlet on the bombers, plus the height of the adapter will push this about to there, and that will give me enough room to do what I need to do. So I just gotta go find the adapter and we'll get that set up. So first step, well, it's hard calling anything the first step at this point. The next step, first part of actually cutting this, want to make sure the bottom is seated where I want it. This thing is lined up pretty much where the path is going to be. I'm going to mark where... Yeah, I didn't make that easy on myself. Let's get out of there. I'm going to mark where I believe I should make a cut. I want as much of it to actually seat in the line as possible. Use this guy. This isn't pain. This is a pain to do. Everything's a pain to do looking through phone screen. Snug that up. So I want to do this a little bit at a time because I want to make sure not to crush the line. I don't really think there's much risk of that. I do just want to get a clean cut. Oh, I'm already through. And I took that out too, which is fine. Don't need that anyway. So I'll ring in there. I'll replace that later. It's not bad. I could have made that a little bit longer. If I want to, I can just turn. The important bit is there's no way for this line to come flying out on me. That's not bad. So that will end up just like that. It's not quite straight here, is it? The O-ring should handle it. So just notice this Laurier SA. The fitting doesn't come exactly straight out of there. It's a little bit of an angle, but I think that'll be fine anyway. So then, now we have that, let us, for the sake of mock-up again, I'll end up somewhere around here. Can that line fit? Yeah, I think it will. Not quite straight. Maybe because I did that. There we go. Oh, it wasn't quite straight to begin with, was it? And this will go here. Let me just cut that for the sake. Probably have to replace that. That's, you know, I don't know how old this hose is, but imagine it's somewhere around quite. You know, this is something I've always not been very good at. End up stabbing myself with the fitting. Yeah, I'm going to be replacing that anyway. I have somewhere, I think, the little brass hats. I saw the nickel or silvery ones over there in the bin. I think I have little brass ones that will match up better. So, clear the stuff aside. Obviously not done. I don't have any hoppers, I don't think, or elbows that'll fit this thing. Could be like that. So, I think this is how the build is going to go. I'm quite happy with it. Can't be a lefty, but the kit wouldn't let you be a lefty anyway. No idea if any of this stuff's actually going to work. But I am going to take it back apart, seal it all up, actually seal the fittings, replace the O-rings, and come back when that is all set. And we can try it out with the 12 gram. Okay, so here we are. While I was away, put some Loctite sealant on all my fittings, new O-rings on this guy here. I did replace all the seals in this reg. I don't know if it's going to work. We'll see. I did not do anything to the rock or the three-way inside the kit. Honestly, I don't even know. The marker itself might leak, so I'm not sure. But that's all right. Mostly I was just trying to make a complete something anyway. Right now the regs are both backed out, so I'm going to air it up with a 12E, because right now with the coronavirus pandemic I can't go anywhere to fill up a tank anyway, so all I have is 12 grams. Cover that up. Alright, I guess just go for it. All right, well, it's not, didn't blow up in my face, and it's not blowing out clouds of CO2. Pressure shows 0, so the reg is all the way backed out. And hopefully, as I... Oh yeah, okay, so that's leaking from... The rock is leaking, so... Is there any chance at all? There may not be. Alright, let's see if I can get it to a point. I can actually get the bits to cycle. So let's see, it's a Nelson, so it fires. I'm not exactly sure how the operating of this thing works. I think this should come back, and when you pull the trigger, this pushes forward. Okay, so that rock, that leaks pretty rapidly. Not sure if you can actually see. Nice little CO2 cloud there. Now I gotta decide. Do I want to open up the rock? Do I want to go that far with it? And I think for right now, actually, that answer is going to be no. The main project was to put something together for my pieces, and now I have most of a something together. So what I will do then actually is add this to the list of probably a future rebuild. Perhaps I'll do a video on rebuilding that rock. I don't know if I would have to actually desolder it. Yeah, I can't remember my other markers. I think they had a rock. This came apart. But we'll see. Maybe I'll just see if I can pop the piston out the front. Maybe throw some grease or oil on it. And then try again. Let me just do that. Alright, I know I just said I wasn't going to do this. But I'm not sure how well that carries through in the video. That is the inside of the rock. I don't know if that's a melted O-ring or grease or what, but obviously that ain't working. So I'm gonna try and get that out of there, see if I can clean it up. Pulling parts with melted O-rings is not fun, but that is a mess in there. I'm gonna see what I can do about that. Alright, so rock update. Here's my piston. That obviously was not gonna work. Here is, oh, you're not going to see that. Oh, this is full of gunk too. Yeah, unfortunately, won't be able to see it. This thing's full of junk and melted O-ring, but rather than mess with that further at the moment, I happen to have another one. So this will be basically the last attempt for the current build. If I just pulled the piston on this one, greased it. I do not know how to get this thing off the bottom without desoldering. Yeah, I'm gonna try this one out. If this works, then good. If it doesn't, then oh well. So I'll install that and be right back. Alright, if I have not managed to bore you away yet, we are ready to try again. So, since before, I now have some gloves, just cuz. And what I have done is swapped out the rock. I replaced the O-ring on the piston. The other thing that could be bad, possibly, is there's a pressure relief built into the piston. And if that is failed, I do not have the seal for that, nor is it preferable to mess with it, because that is set by Palmer's. I don't have the tool really to set that. I also swapped out this gauge. I don't like it as much, but the pressure range is much more realistic. The other one only went up to 300, and that's not really enough, I don't think. Since this thing has to cock back against the valve, there has to be enough air pressure to actually hold the valve shut while the ram is meanwhile slamming into it. So we'll see what happens. This time, this will be the last try. So once again, Rag's all the way loose. I should say all the way down, 0. Okay. Still good. Nothing up to the rag, or the rag itself is leaking. It is properly off. Try and do this. Okay, pressure is going up, and nothing is leaking yet. So let's see. Okay, that was basically just full open. This rig may be intended for lower pressures than what I need, but no leaks yet, so that's good. Means the seal in the back of the LPR is good. Assuming there's no air coming to the ram yet. No. Even though this is a thumb screw, that is not easy to turn. I'm basically listening for a leak to let me know when this thing is aired up. Because I am assuming it's going to leak. Here, a little bit of leak. Oh yeah. Leaking. But, alright, that's fine. I think we need some more pressure. See if we can at least get it to cycle a little bit before the rock leaks all my air out. There we go. So I suspect that pressure relief in the rock is actually failed. I'm not going to deal with that now. Maybe ever. I don't know if I'd actually intend to use this. My main goal was to take a collection of loose parts that I could rearrange into the form of a marker, which I have achieved that here. Would have been nice if it was working. Yeah, obviously I could get it to work if I didn't use oddball ancient parts, and if I had all the stuff to rebuild it. But I kind of like the look of it. I would have much preferred to use the stabilizer, and maybe I'll come back to it. But or I could use the stabilizer and a marker that would actually get used. But I think that'll be it for now then. Double check that is actually called the Chameleon Kit. And there. That's the first bin build. I'm sure I'll come up with something. Maybe it'll be some revisions to this. Who knows? Alright then. I'll see you later.